Hello friends, welcome back to my kitchen, welcome back to my home, welcome back to the channel where I publish videos on the schedule of pretty much whenever the heck I feel like it. Life happens and the regularity doesn't always become regularity as much as it becomes monotony. I wanted to talk to you today about two things, neither of which is my burgeoning head of hair. The first one being I have been flattered by the positive comments from some people who have viewed these videos and felt that it had some impact on them. I'm very flattered that anything I say resonates with anybody, but I want to make sure that you understand that I don't have any answers. I'm not the answer guy. I've got questions. I've got lots and lots of questions, and this is part of my way of working through those questions, is by talking about them out in the open and having conversations. It's the same thing that our parents and grandparents and great grandparents used to do when they were together. But I find that our modern society tends to not encourage togetherness as much as past societies might have. So this is my method of working through some of these ideas. So far, it's been a fairly one-sided conversation because the people who respond are few and far between, and that's okay. Like I said, part of what I'm doing is just kind of getting it out there and getting a conversation active, and eventually that comes back to me. And it also is a way of me just organizing my thoughts and putting them out into the universe. So for everyone who has responded, I very much appreciate you. I know you've got questions too, and I encourage you to engage in conversations so that we can all benefit from mutual experiences and mutual ideas exchanges. That's number one. Number two is I was reminded recently in my most recent therapy session about a concept that I've held dear for a very long time but just haven't been employing lately, and that is the idea of laying your burdens down. I have recently been treating the things that I find challenging as a monolith, whether it is one event that has grown into this monolithic thing, or whether it is a procession of events that I have been conceiving them as one thing. I had somehow lost my perspective on the discreteness of each moment within that event. That was most poignantly pointed out to me when a big part of why I was led to therapy was I've been suppressing grief for a long time. Like everybody, I had losses, but my losses came in a quick succession. They just kind of started in 2020 and didn't stop until 2019, and there was two or three major things every year that kind of I just suppressed my grief over. And so a big part of what led me to therapy was trying to process that grief. And leading into this idea of laying burdens down and creating discrete events from monolithic things, my therapist was talking about a particular book, and she said, you, even after you stop grieving, you can have moments of grief. That was like a mind blower to me because I had never really thought about grief and grieving as separate things. The best way I can put it of how I think about it in my mind now is that grief is an event and grieving is a process. So even though, how it affected me was my dad died. And I didn't grieve him for a long time, and I have grieved him now. But I think that's kind of a misnomer. I had grieved him for a long time, but I always kept thinking that my grieving wasn't over because I kept feeling moments of grief. You know, I would be walking through a store and see something that I thought that Dad would like. And I'd be like, I gotta call him. Oh, and then I'd be sad. And I thought those were the same thing, but they're not. I will experience moments of grief for the rest of my life regarding the loss of my dad. But that doesn't mean I haven't stopped grieving him. The grieving is integrating that sadness and loss into your person and into yourself, and understanding that those moments of grief don't have to stop you from living your life because you're feeling that sadness. They're a remembrance. They're an expression of the love that you feel for that person in the immediate moment, even though they're no longer here. But that's a tangent. The big thing about that, separating out grief and grieving for me, is also understanding that I was dealing with them both as one monolithic thing, and now they're separate into two different events. And that means that I can have a moment of grief, acknowledge it, and lay it down. However you want to conceptualize that. My therapist was describing it as she visualizes everything as a stone, and it's just a rock that she puts down. And then she goes on her merry way. And that doesn't mean she's never going to pick that rock up again and review it and touch it and feel it and bring it into her reality. It just means that I don't have to carry this all the time. I can lay it down. I've acknowledged it. It is there. It is a real thing. It is impactful. And I can either build something from it, make an anchor out of it, or destroy myself by beating myself in the head with it. All of those things continue to exist outside of the fact that I can lay it down. I don't need to carry that burden with me all the time. And the reason why I say that this is a practice that I've used for a long time is I used to and still use meditation as a part of my process, so that if I'm having trouble sleeping, if I'm having trouble processing a particular idea, if I just need to be more in tune with myself and my body, I'll often use meditation to explore mentally my state. And since the early 1990s, one of the guided meditations that I use is a mental picture of walking through a forest. I come to a stream. There's a bridge across the stream. I walk into the center of the bridge, notice that I'm carrying a bag, drop the bag into the stream, carry on my merry way, and go through the forest on the other side. It's a very quick summary of it. I mean, there's a whole lot more to it, but the important part being that the bag of stuff represents whatever it is that's concerning me. It's the things that are within my conscious mind that I am turning over and over and over and over and not allowing my brain an opportunity to process them. I'm trying to outthink my own brain. So I put those in a bag mentally and drop them into the stream, which is my stream of consciousness, and that takes it into my subconscious mind, and now my brain can process that however my brain needs to. And I really hadn't done that for a long time. And I haven't done it since my therapy session, but it's something that's on my to-do list because it was a very effective process. But it really represented me visualizing the things that are bothering me and releasing them, putting them down, not consciously picking them up and examining them in their minutiae. And I think that that's important. I think it's important to give yourself the ability, the compassion, and the grace to look at the burden, whatever it is that is weighing on your soul, on your heart, on your mind. Visualize it however you want to. Plant it as a tree. It's a stone that you throw. It's a stone you put down. It's a whatever it is. But put it down. Just, it doesn't mean you won't pick it up again. It is a real thing that your mind is going to acknowledge for the rest of time. But that doesn't mean you have to carry it with you. So there you go, folks. There's your Friday, I don't know, question. How do you deal with your burdens? How do you have conversations about what's concerning to you? I'd love to hear from you. If you want to put something in the questions, in the comments, if you want to like and subscribe, if you want to watch more of these videos, that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. I hope that my questions lead you to some answers. And I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing weekend, an amazing life. I'm looking forward to celebrating this weekend because my girls have their dance recital. It's Mother's Day weekend. And those are 3 women that deserve to be celebrated. So enjoy your weekend. I love you all. Bye.